It's time for the Prete Is On with Dave Prete here on 92.1 The Team, WCKR Hornell. Here's Dave Prete.
And welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday morning here in June, and I cannot believe we're almost halfway through June. Phase 3 of the COVID reopening up, if that's what you want to call it, started yesterday. So more businesses are opening up. Great sign, here for our local community and our local business owners, and for people who have really been looking forward to getting out of the house. So great news, and hopefully Phase 4 is not too far behind, and we can get back to normal, or as close to normal as we remember it from about 3 months ago. On our show today, I have special guest, student athlete from Jasper-Troopsburg, Allison Hayes, joining us here in the first segment. Allison coming up in just a few moments. In segment number 2, we'll have Carl Marino. Carl, a Hornell native, who also, for many who aren't aware, is, he's a Hollywood celebrity. He's on a couple of TV series, and we're going to talk about what he's doing with his acting career. And then segment 3, and possibly 4, if he can stick around, will be Mike Gunzelman, also affectionately known as Guns. And Mike is one of the show producers for Sirius XM Busted Open, which is a professional wrestling radio show on Sirius XM Channel 156. We will get to him at the end of the show and talk some professional wrestling, not something that we normally do here on the show, but we're going to do that tonight for all you wrestling fans. So my first guest, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, she is a senior at Jasper-Troopsburg Central School, where she has participated in marching band. She's on the National Honor Society, the prom committee, FFA, which I'm going to ask her what that is, and is graduating this year as the salutatorian. She also is a pretty good athlete as well. She has played in the soccer, basketball, and track programs at Jasper-Troopsburg, and she's been the sectional champion in the 400-meter dash. She was named to the Steuben County Basketball All-Star team and invited to the Exceptional Senior Game. So without further ado, I want to welcome from Jasper-Troopsburg Central School, outstanding senior student athlete, Allison Hayes. Allison, welcome to the Prete Is On.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Allison. How are you doing? Now, that's quite a list of accomplishments for you, something I'm sure you're very proud of, your family and your teachers and community is very proud of. As a senior and a senior who's really, like many others here in the area and all across the country, has kind of gotten a raw deal this year with the whole coronavirus and the shutting down of schools early, and especially taking away that spring sports season. Tell me what you're doing to cope as far as preparing for graduation, and what have you been doing to keep in touch with some of your fellow graduating seniors this year?
Sure. I mean, our school all transitioned to online learning, so it's just been a huge transition from going to school every day to waking up and just trying to figure it out on your own. We haven't been really to, hang out with our friends, so we've just been, recently been walking the track and stuff, just trying to keep in touch with them, but graduating, we finished our last week this week, and we're just basically getting ready to go our own separate ways.
Yeah, and again, it's a tough deal, and I feel, as do many other people for you guys, that a lot of the experiences that you normally would have as a senior have been cut short. I know you guys are using virtual means to communicate and do a lot of the stuff that you would normally do in person. Tell me about your feelings about graduation, because I know there's, different places are doing different ceremonies for graduation. What's Jasper-Troopsburg have planned at this point?
So far, I'm graduating in a class of about 44 kids. So recently with the 150 cap limit, that we're doing an outdoor ceremony at our soccer complex, and it's going to be all my classmates and their parents are going to be invited, which is nice to be able to have a ceremony with my classmates, but also still sad that the rest of my family can't come to watch. It's just my parents, but trying to make the best of it.
And hopefully somebody gets a good recording of that, because that is one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments that, you're always
Right,
going to want to
definitely.
remember. So you are salutatorian, as I mentioned in the intro, so congratulations on that. That's an awesome accomplishment.
Thank you.
And one I'm sure you're very proud of. What do you plan to do when you graduate? What are your career plans? What are your plans for going off to college? And where do you want to be in 10 years from now?
Sure. So my dream career is to be a phys ed teacher and coach basketball at the same school or surrounding school district. So in the fall, I'm going to be going to Corning Community College, and I'm going to be majoring in health and physical education, and I'm also going to be playing on the basketball team. And hopefully in 10 years, that puts me somewhere in a school district, somewhere in New York, coaching basketball.
And, I'm not being sarcastic at all when I say this. That is pretty impressive that someone your age knows exactly what you want to do and you have everything mapped out from a career perspective. You don't see that a lot, from teenagers, and it's not a knock on, certainly on any teenagers. It's just, I remember a long time ago, because I'm pretty old, when I was your age, if you would have asked me what I was going to be doing 10 years from now, I would have told you I have no idea. So that's really awesome that you have a roadmap of where you want to be, 10 years down the road, and it sounds like even farther than that. And, great job to you for preparing yourself for the future.
Thank you.
So let's talk about sports.
Okay.
As I mentioned, you're a member of the soccer and the soccer, basketball, and track programs at Jasper Troopsburg, where you also accomplished many different feats. What was, in your mind, what stood out the most? What was your biggest accomplishment as an athlete during your school years?
So last January, I actually did tear my ACL. So kind of the rehab to get back from that and, with hopes to play basketball my senior year, it took a lot more out of me than I thought it would have. So I think coming back from that, and, it's not a sport event in itself, but for me, that was the biggest thing that I had to learn in order to come back to play sports for JT.
And how did the rehab go? How long did that take?
It took about 11 months. I did it up at Maple City in Hornell. I love it there, but I was there for a long time. A lot of setbacks, but I finally made it. I was able to play it for my senior year, which I was very excited about.
And you mentioned just a few minutes ago you will be playing basketball at Corning Community College. Have you had the opportunity to, talk to their coach? Any of the players or anybody involved with the program there?
Yep. So my sister also attends Corning, and so I've been at lots of games last year. But Mike is also holding Zoom meetings, so we're able to put a face and a name to the incoming players, which has been really, really nice.
Well, again, Allison, this is great, and I'm glad to have you on. We're trying to honor and recognize as many local athletes and student athletes as we can that have accomplished great things in school and on the field and in the classroom. And having you on is hopefully some sort of consolidation for kind of the rough year that you've had. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I want to wish you luck. And once again, I want to compliment you on everything you've done, especially the being prepared for what comes next, because that's really impressive. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, good luck to you. That was Allison Hayes, senior, exceptional student, exceptional athlete from Jasper Troopsburg School. And Allison heading to Corning Community College in the fall for her academics and to play basketball. So good luck to Allison, and thanks again for coming on the show. And when we come back in segment 2, we will have Hornell native and actor Carl Marino coming up next.
Mullen Factory Direct Flooring in Almond is open, and they want you to know that they're following health and safety guidelines in order to keep everyone safe during this crisis. Mullins also understands that you may have a flooring project with a deadline that can't wait, like apartment renovations, new construction, an unexpected catastrophe. Whether you need it installed or you do it yourself, they'll do their best to make sure they take care of you with safety in mind and get that project done on time. They have over 500,000 square feet of in-stock flooring, and they offer special financing to qualified buyers. Mullen Factory Direct Flooring in Almond.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-368-5184. 800-368-5184. 800-368-5184. That's 800-368-5184.
All right, welcome back to the Prete Is On here Saturday morning on 92.1 The Team. Thank you again to Allison Hayes, outstanding student athlete and salutatorian at Jasper Troopsburg Central School, who joined us in our first segment. So now a little treat for everyone here in the Hornell area, because our next guest here in segment number 2 is on our studio line, and he actually is a native of Hornell, New York, grew up here in Hornell, where he graduated from Hornell High School. He attended United States Military Academy at West Point for 2 years. Following West Point, he became a deputy sheriff in Monroe County, just up the road, where he served for 17 years on their force. He kind of fell into the acting world upon moving to California, made his television debut on the NBC primetime show Trauma. Since then, he has appeared in numerous feature films, television shows, and national commercials. In 2010, he was cast as the lead title character on the new investigation discovery show Homicide Hunter as Lieutenant Joe Kenda. He portrays Lieutenant Joe Kenda in all episodes. Homicide Hunter is the highest-rated show on investigation discovery, re-airing in almost 200 countries. He and his wife, who live in California, raise money for charities by running marathons. I want to welcome at this time Hornell native actor Carl Marino. Carl, welcome to the Prete Is On.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Carl. And now, do you still live in California? I know you did you recently move?
Yeah, I got out just in time, right before the whole COVID thing hit. My wife and I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay. And how's the move going? How's it down there?
Oh, it's beautiful here. The TV show we're actually done filming it. It finished airing earlier this year. But eight of the seasons filmed in Knoxville, and so I would fly here or back every weekend for like 9 months out of the year. And I got to know the place, got to know the people. After a while, I realized I had more friends in Tennessee than I had in California. And actually, they ended up being better friends. So my wife got permission to work remotely from her company in California, and that kind of solidified the deal, and we made the move. And it was the best thing we ever did.
That's awesome. Do you get back to Hornell much, Carl?
I tried to. I was actually had flights to come back for St. Patrick's Day before everything closed down, and ultimately had to cancel those flights. But I was, we always look forward to coming back there and partying with everyone at the KFC.
Yeah, and St. Patrick's Day. I know I saw you. I think that's the last time I saw you was a couple of years ago, I think, at our St. Patrick's Day celebration, which, by the way, was the last day that bars were open here in the Hornell area before they shut down due to the COVID-19. So, Carl, in the intro, I had mentioned that you kind of, quote-unquote, fell into the acting profession. Can you elaborate a little bit how you fell into it? How did that whole thing come about for you?
Sure. Yeah, Actually, I moved out to California. I moved to San Jose because I have relatives out there, and I used to go visit quite frequently. And when I moved out there, I actually answered an ad on Craigslist, of all things. So I'd like to tell people I got my acting start the traditional way, with Craigslist ads. But they wanted real or former police officers to play police officers on the TV show Trauma on NBC up in San Francisco. And so I submitted for it. It was just extra work, and I thought it'd be fun. I mean, I had no intention of being an actor or any desire to be an actor, but, they were going to pay me to do it, and, it sounded easy. And I'd never been on a TV or movie set, so, I kind of wanted to see what was going on. And I ended up being a paramedic on the show, just doing extra work, running back and forth, carrying gurneys and stuff, and had a lot of fun doing that, met a lot of friends. By about the third episode, the director-producer, Jeffrey Reiner, actually gave me lines on the show, which at the time I didn't realize what a big deal that was on the network show until I saw them opening a chair for me next to all the stars of the show. I had a piece of the trailer. I went from making like $100 to making $2,500 for the day. I ate in a different line than all my friends, the other extras, and it was quite a big deal. And the episode after that, he gave me lines again because I was able to deliver them the first time. I was terrified. And the episode after that, he gave me lines again, gave me a character name, and made me part of the cast. And I was in every episode after that. Unfortunately, I only had like a season and a half, but that opened up a whole lot of doors for me. And I had agents actually calling me saying that you're a character on a network TV show and you don't have an agent. Would you like one? And so I got involved with an agent. And soon after, I ended the role of Lieutenant Joe Kenda and spent the last 9 years filming that.
That's pretty amazing. And that kind of leads to my next question: is what's it like on the set of a TV series or filming a TV show? It's got to be at times kind of nerve wracking. I'm sure there's parts of it that are really fun and exciting, but overall, walk me through a typical day if there is such a thing for you.
Well, it can actually be very, very boring as well because it's time consuming, and I mean, like on some of the bigger TV shows, you could take a whole day just filming one scene. Hours and hours of different takes, different angles. You got to switch the lighting in between every angle, and but ultimately it's fun. I mean, you meet so many great people. I've been honored and privileged to work with some pretty big names and stuff as well. But it is a lot of fun, and it's work. And I wouldn't have thought that at the time, but there's a lot of work involved in that, and a lot of late nights as well. It's just something happened outdoors at night, and you got to film it at night. And there'd be times where we'd stop filming when the birds started chirping because it got too light out to film. But it's also it's like a paramilitary organization. I mean, there is a rank structure in the crew, from the director down to the PA, and everyone has their own job. Everyone knows their job, and if you get a good crew, which I've been lucky to have really good crews, it's like clockwork. Everyone gets their job done, and we get it produced.
Well, if you ever need an extra or something, I'm available because I've always wanted to be on a TV show. I don't even care if I'm, the big fat slob sitting in the back eating a burger or something. So if you ever need somebody like that, I'm your man. So we're talking to Carl Marino, Hornell native, actor, and former police officer for a number of years for Monroe County Sheriff Department. Carl, with everything going on, I know it's heartbreaking for you being a former law enforcement officer to see a lot of what's going on in our country and, just the way, that law enforcement has been treated because of the unfortunate work of one bad apple or a couple bad apples. What is your message to people listening? What is your message to some of your fellow law enforcement officers during this really very difficult time that we're going through?
Well, first and foremost, support the police. This whole defund the police is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these are the people that protect society, protect you, your families from evil. And like any profession, there are going to be bad apples. There are very, very few in the police department. But when it does happen, of course, that's what the news focuses on. They don't focus on the 99.99% of the police officers that are doing good every day, that are risking their lives, that are worrying their families that are out there on the streets. And they're the ones that need the recognition. And unfortunately, we don't get that with the media nowadays.
I agree. And I know I'm very supportive of what our law enforcement officers do, and many, many other people are. And it's unfortunate kind of the conflict and the struggle that we're having in our country right now. But to all those men and women in uniform, stay strong and hang in there, because I think better days will be ahead once things settle down a little bit. Now, you're a sports fan, and
sure am.
I know you're a Yankees fan because I'm a Mets fan, and you and I have had plenty back and forth before, which you win most of them because you're a Yankees fan. You're also a Miami Dolphins fan. So with baseball, kind of the season hanging in the balance right now, because nobody knows if there's going to be a season. There's a new proposal out by the owners that I believe they're giving the Players Association until Sunday to accept it, and if they don't, it potentially could be the last offer, because let's face it, we're getting late into the season now if these guys are going to start. But let's assume that they play a season. What are you excited about with the Yankees, and do you see them, being the top team? And I know it's hard to tell because they're talking about reshuffling all the divisions and things like that, but just hypothetically, where do you see the Yankees finishing? Or, are they going to be the world champions this year if there ends up being a season?
Well, of course, I believe they're going to be, and because I always think that. And as Yankee fans, that's our one goal and our one belief at all times, that we're always going to be there, at least with a shot at it. And, obviously we have a big payroll, and that, the additions we made in the off season, I don't see another team out there that has the strength that the Yankees have at all positions. But of course, and that's why you got to play the games. But I'd be very, very disappointed if we didn't have any season at all. I mean, that would just be heartbreaking.
It would be, and as big baseball fans, both of us, I'm waiting anxiously to see if they play it. But, in reality, we're in the middle of June. If they want to start at the beginning of July like they're talking about, they would almost have to begin immediately, because they're going to need another at least 2 to 3 weeks of an extended spring training, and then, get to the games. And, we all know that, baseball now goes into October, November. You can't really go any later than that. So if they want to squeeze any kind of season and postseason, then they got to get started soon. Now let's talk about football. You're a Miami Dolphins fan. I know that, like myself, being a Buccaneers fan, it has not been a fruitful past decade for either of our teams, but in particular for the Dolphins. But I think that there are better days ahead for the Dolphins. They drafted Tua, and it had three first round draft picks this year. Do you see the Dolphins up and coming? Are they maybe the successor to the Patriots in the next couple of years in the AFC East?
Well, that's going to depend on Tua, honestly. And I have high hopes for him. I was glad the Dolphins drafted him. I think if he stays healthy, he could be that element that takes us into the playoffs, which obviously we've only been to the playoffs once in the last 14 years or so. And I think our coaches head in the right direction. We had some really key additions on defense that we picked up in the offseason as well. And he seems to be strengthening all the areas of weakness that the team had. I mean, obviously, I don't have any high hopes for him this year. I mean, it's going to be a growing year for him. But within the next 2 or 3 years, if they keep putting these pieces together like that, and if Tua actually plays like we know that he can and stays healthy, then I think Dolphins fans have something to be excited about.
Yeah, and that division's wide open now with, Tom Brady heading down south to my beloved Buccaneers, where now he'll probably be a totally different quarterback and, win 2 games, because that's how the Bucs roll. But yeah, I'm excited for football. I know a lot of the off the field dramatics that are going to go with it, I'm not really excited about, and I really don't want to get into it on this show, but you know what I'm talking about. But the season itself, and it's exciting mainly just because it's sports, and right now not having any sports for the last 3 months has just been excruciating. So let's hope baseball gets started, and football season gets off without a hiccup, and maybe we'll even see a stadium full of fans. So I have been talking with Carl Marino, actor, Hornell native, Carl, unfortunately I'm out of time, but it has been a pleasure having you on the show. I hope you can get back up here to Hornell sometime soon so everybody can see you. Is that in the plans?
Oh, definitely. I try to make it back there 2 or 3 times a year anyways, and I'd like to make a trip out there in the fall because that's my favorite time of the year in Western New York anyways, and hopefully I'll get to see everyone then.
And for those who might have missed the earlier segment, Carl is homicide hunter, Lieutenant Joe Kenda, and season 9, the final season.
They actually already finished airing. They still show the repeats all the time. Well, at least they did. Who knows now when they're canceling all these police shows, what the future of police dramas or those type of shows are going to be now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it is on the Investigation Discovery. Check it out. Check out Carl. And again, Carl, congrats on all the success. It's awesome knowing that, we have people right here from the Hornell community that are doing wonderful things. It's great talking to you. Hopefully we'll see you soon. That's Carl Marino, Hornell native and actor, joining the show this Saturday morning. And when we come back from break, I will have Mike Gunzelman, affectionately known as Guns, from Sirius XM Radio, Busted Open Professional Wrestling channel on Sirius XM. We'll be back to talk some professional wrestling after this break.
Courts Auto Collision.
Hi, Bill.
Never seen an insurance job we both can't make money on yet.
Bill?
And yes, I still have a free loaner car.
Bill, I just called to...
Courts Auto Collision, Day Route 36, south of Canisteel, 698-9900. Online at McCourtsCollision.com.
Bill, for the first time in my life, you have left me speechless.
I am Bill McCourt.
Wow.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. Call 800-706-7063, 800-706-7063. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 800-706-7063, 800-706-7063. That's 800-706-7063. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And welcome back to the Prete Is On 92.1 The Team here in Hornell. And on the studio line, I have a special guest from Sirius XM Channel 156, Busted Open, one of the show producers, Mike Gunzelman, affectionately known as Guns. Guns, welcome to the Prete Is On, and this is a treat having you on here.
This is awesome, my man. Congratulations on everything. I've been listening for a while now. And, yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I know that you're a big-time wrestling fan. We had spoken in the past, and, yeah, although I got to say this, you guys talked about the Yankees a little bit earlier, and I'm a die-hard Yankee fan, and I'm so frustrated at Major League Baseball right now. I don't even know. I thought, okay, they'll get it figured out. I don't even know if they're going to get figured out. I don't know what's going to happen with sports. Forget the whole July 4th. We're going to come back 4th of July. It's going to be a great day in America. That's completely gone. I don't know what they're going to do. It's so frustrating because all I wanted to do was just go out and watch the Yankees play. I don't care if it's on the TV. I don't care if it's socially distancing with my friends, 6 feet apart at a bar when they reopen. But I don't know, man. It's so frustrating. Oh, man.
I'm surrounded by Yankee fans. I'm a Mets fan, Guns, and I know we'll talk a little bit we'll talk in a little bit about one of your other roles outside of Sirius XM, and I know you do some coverage of the Mets. I got to tell you, I can't feel the same way being a Mets fan. I mean, I love baseball. I love watching baseball, but do you realize how difficult it is being a Mets fan? I don't think Yankee fans understand how difficult it is.
Well, listen, I have Mets friends, and they're just miserable all the time. They they're all they're always waiting for the letdown. And even last summer, when you guys were going on that run and won 13 out of 15 games or whatever it was, people were like, "Oh yeah, Mets playoffs, World Series." I was like, "Calm down, because the Mets are going to blow it, like they always do," and they blew it all right. Oh man, did they blow it?
They did, and when they made the World Series in 2015, and I can't believe that was almost 5 years ago, to be honest with you, but I was thinking to myself, it's the Royals. They can't lose a World Series to the Royals. Well, guess what? Not only did they lose to the Royals, they lost 4-1. They weren't even in it. Do you know how embarrassing that was as a Mets fan, losing to the Royals?
And it was only one of the only 2 years that the Royals were even good, because then they just fell apart after that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you could say the same of the Mets. I mean, they're not very good either.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but the Mets aren't going to go back anytime soon. That was your chance, guys. Come on now,
Listen, I'm just hoping for new ownership, and I'm hoping that it's somebody not named the Wilpons, because they have run that team in the ground. They're honestly, they're a big part of the problem. Is just the mismanagement and the poor management of that organization. So at this point, I don't even care if it's A-Rod and J-Lo. Anybody's got to be better than the Wilpons.
I say that's so funny, because obviously we broadcast Sirius XM out of New York City. We're up kind of right near where Rockefeller Plaza is. We're across the street from where they, Jimmy Fallon would do his show and all that stuff. But being in New York City, I mean, we got the Wilpons, who are just an absolute joke and messes right there. Then we've got James Dolan, who doesn't know what the heck's going on with the Knicks. The Knicks are a laughing joke stock of nobody even wears Knicks jerseys right now. You don't even know who's on the Knicks right now. They are a disaster. So right now we're not doing too great with our ownership. And then we used to have the Islanders with what's his face, who was also a mess, and I think he's in jail right now. So yeah, not too good right now with the New York City centric teams, if you would.
Well, just be thankful you're a Yankees fan. That's all I have to say. So,
I got one. Yeah.
You did. I mean, you might have heard me say I'm a Buccaneers fan, and there is some hope for me right now, but man, it's kind of like the same concept as the Mets, where you just wait for that letdown, because you know what's going to happen. Tom Brady's going to probably sustain some type of season-ending injury the first snap he takes in preseason. I can just feel it. Something weird, something bad's going to happen, because it's the Buccaneers. But you know what? I'm used to it by now, so it is what it is. But so let's talk about your role at Sirius XM Radio. You are one of the co-producers for a professional wrestling show called Busted Open, which actually I am a huge fan of. I try to listen to daily, or as often as I can. So on that show, the host, Dave LaGreca, for those who've never listened to the show, Dave LaGreca, and he is always partnered up with one of 3 wrestling legends. It's either Mark Henry, the world's strongest man and WWE Hall of Famer, Bubba Ray or Bully Ray Dudley, who also is a WWE Hall of Famer, and on occasion Tommy Dreamer. And then your co-producer, Gabby, she's a Spitfire. And listening to the 5 of you on a daily basis is so entertaining, not only from a wrestling perspective, but just the pure entertainment of the conversations that you guys have is absolutely awesome. Tell me a little bit about what it's like on a daily basis, especially working with LaGreca, because I know he's sometimes he can be a little over the top and a little annoying. What's it like, managing that whole team, putting it all together?
I mean, I've been involved in radio and TV now for at least a decade. I've worked with all sorts of. I used to be on the IMIS in the morning program, so I was on IMIS. I was doing sports on IMIS for about 6 years. So I was able to deal with Don Imus. I can handle everybody. And I got to say though, the Fight Nation and the Busted Open show specifically have just been awesome, because you said it exactly right. We just have fun. It's an entertaining show, and it can listen. Does everybody love professional wrestling? No. But people tune in. I get the calls and more of the tweets, etc., from people that might not even like professional wrestling, but 2 things can happen. One, they start watching the show and start watching professional wrestling because of listening to Busted Open. Maybe a friend told them about it as well. Or they still don't care about wrestling, but they still just want to tune in for the antics. because you never know what's going to happen. Every morning, and thank God it is a morning show because it works so well. It's just entertaining because it's wild, man. Like, everyone's got their own personalities. I love Dave. Dave's, like, treated me very well, very nice, and he's also so passionate. Sometimes when you get involved in broadcasting, like, some people, you know, they fake it. Dave doesn't fake it. I mean, he is a die-hard wrestling fan for, like, 30-plus years now. He always talks about, like, the wrestling magazines. Like, if you're 10 years old right now, you don't even know what a magazine is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you only know digital stuff. And Dave's talking about, like, you know, his magazines growing up and all that. But you're right, because we all have our own personalities and and our likes and our desires and our wants and needs. And it all just meshes and blends together. And it's so much fun, man. And I've worked with a lot of shows, but this one is just wild, man. And then on top of that, you're working with, like, literally Hall of Famers, like some of the best wrestlers of all time who are, you know, equivalent to, like, you know, huge superstars in other sports. Like, that's what they're looked upon. Like, Mark Henry walks down the street, he gets recognized. You know what I mean? Like, if Bubba goes to a wrestling match, people are lined up wanting to take photos with him because that's who they looked up to growing up and still do. Like, to be a part of that is just, that's awesome, dude. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, now, Mark Henry, and for the guy is huge. If nobody has ever seen Mark Henry, he's one of the biggest men you'll ever witness. World's strongest man, that's not just a title, that's something he earned, going back to his time in college and in the Olympics. In the many years that he was a professional wrestler, he played the role of, you know, the villainous, you know, the big jerk villain that, you know, people booed, nobody liked, and he was also, you know...
Yeah, he was like an enforcer to some of the wrestlers. I mean, when he stepped in the ring, yeah, exactly. The fans were like, oh no, like, what's he gonna do now? Because you knew he was just gonna level somebody, you know?
Yeah, but he's also played, you know, the fan favorite, the big teddy bear, you know, that everybody loved him. So he's kind of, you know, worked both angles. What's Mark Henry really like in real life? I've always wondered that, like, behind the scenes.
A lot of these guys on the air are for Busted Open, not for every sport and every show out there. But for Busted Open, they're kind of almost exactly how they are on the radio. Like, Mark Henry, you know, he's smooth, or at least you know what I mean? He talks in a slow manner, slow pace, but he is just a really nice guy. You know what I mean? And he's got a great sense of humor and is witty with his one-liners and just likes to have fun. But he also does it as just this giant wrestling Hall of Famer. So, like, what you hear on him on the air, he's pretty much the exact same way. He knows his wrestling. He's passionate about what he believes in. And then he also is really smart because he's able to, you know, he was, like, you know, Olympic bodybuilder, a weightlifter, et cetera, and then goes on to wrestling, and now he's been able to make a really substantial broadcasting career because he not only does our show, but he does, you know, stuff on the WWE Network, and he does different podcasts and YouTube shows, et cetera. So he's able to, you know, articulate his words in a way that Mark Henry can, and so he's got the perfect thing between, like, knowledge, but also he's funny, man. Like, I do his show, you know, I specifically do him and Ryan McKinnell every Saturday beyond just during the week. I specifically do his show on Saturday, and he later today actually, and he is just funny, man. Like, you know what I mean? He's just a funny dude. Like, I just want to go partying with him. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to go club with him.
That would be fun. We are talking with Mike Gunzelman, also known as Guns, from Sirius XM Busted Open Radio, channel 156, and that airs every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And so your other show producer, Gabby is a spitfire who takes no crap from any of you guys, and I mean that literally. What is it like working with Gabby? Is she the heir apparent to Dave LaGreca?
I feel it is because she. I love Gabby. She's awesome. We're like kind of like a brother-sister relationship because she had been in she had been in Sirius longer than I had been. So she kind of, you know, and she had been working on that program longer than I have as well. So she knows it. You know what I mean? Like, she knows the show better than I do, just simply from being there. But she also, like, you know, she doesn't take any you know, blank from anybody. You know, like she's just able to have fun and kind of just throw it right back at you. So whether if it's a guest, like say being rude or a caller being rude, she'll call out the caller and be like, what are you talking about? Or like if, you know, sometimes, you know, people will go back and forth, but yeah, she doesn't hold back at all. And it's so funny because it's like, oh God, here we go, you know?
So we only have a couple minutes left in this segment, and I know you're going to come back for the second segment, which I appreciate. Tell me really quick, besides SiriusXM Busted Open, what other shows and what other gigs are you working on? And I know you're into music as well, so tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So my last name's Gunzelman, but I go by Guns because it's broadcasting. You got to have a personality. So I go by Guns. It's Guns with a Z. And I've been doing a music show called The Guns Show. And you can check it out, like thegunshow.com, and then obviously on all the podcasts, et cetera. And that's like a music entertainment show. So I interview like some of the biggest bands and artists and people out there. Like I've had everybody from like Kiss to Fall Out Boy to like Nick Jonas to like Blink-182 to all those bands. So that is a show that airs every Wednesday and Sunday night. And I love music. Like I love going to concerts. Like I'd go to like 3 or 4 concerts a week. A lot of my best friends, like here in New York City, work in the concerts or in bands or manage bands. So I'm really into music. So I do that. And then you can also hear me on ABC Radio as the sports reporter if we ever do get sports back. I've been doing that for years, ever since I was part of the Imus in the Morning program. So I've been doing a lot of that on TV as well. So a lot of different things, but pretty much Busted Open and The Gun Show and thegunshow.com are my 2 biggest things right now.
And that's Guns, G-U-N-Z, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so Mike Gunzelman, Guns, joining us here on the Prete Is On here this Saturday morning. I do have to go to a break. Guns is going to come back and join us for our final segment as well. We're going to actually talk some professional wrestling when we come back. So, Guns, stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes after this break.
Mullen Factory Direct Flooring in Almond is open, and they want you to know that they're following health and safety guidelines in order to keep everyone safe during this crisis. Mullins also understands that you may have a flooring project with a deadline that can't wait, like apartment renovations, new construction, an unexpected catastrophe. Whether you need it installed or you do it yourself, they'll do their best to make sure they take care of you with safety in mind and get that project done on time. They have over 500,000 square feet of in-stock flooring, and they offer special financing to qualified buyers. Mullen Factory Direct Flooring in Almond.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join. I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture. It helped me get my job, it helped me pay for my house.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard. Aired by the New York State Broadcasters Association and this station.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823, 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
Didn't hear me say that now. And welcome back to the Prete Is On. And hey, just a reminder, right after my show, airing from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. here on 92.1 The Team, is the Joel Orion Show. Today, Joel will have Maurice Jackson, who was a standout wide receiver in high school, played football at Marshall, where he won, and he also won 2 sectional titles, played at Syracuse University with Donovan McNabb, went to Bills training camp in 2003, and later went on to play in the Canadian Football League. He has a speed camp in Rochester and was just elected to the Section 5 Football Hall of Fame. And Joel will also have a couple members of the band Lit. Now, there's one we haven't heard in a while. And so Lit will be on and talk about their music and when their concert has been rescheduled for been rescheduled locally, as they had a concert recently scheduled that had to be postponed due to the COVID-19. So the rescheduled date has been set, and Joel will talk to them about that. And again, that's a Joel Orion show coming up here at 10 a.m. right after my show on 92.1 The Team. So back for a second segment, and our final segment of the morning is Mike Gunzelman from SiriusXM Radio, Channel 156, Busted Open, where you can listen to Busted Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Great show, even if you're not a wrestling fan, and we talked a little bit about that in the first segment. So, Guns, now that we've talked a little bit about your background, what your role is at SiriusXM and the Busted Open show, let's get into talking about some actual wrestling. And I'm going to tell you, as a lifelong wrestling fan, and I'm in my mid-40s, I have been watching wrestling since I was 10 years old, maybe even a little bit younger. Wrestling has evolved into many different things in the 30-plus years I've been watching it. I remember growing up, it was Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the list goes on. Legendary guys that, most people know their names even if they didn't watch them. And then as generations kind of went by, you kind of went in, to the John Cena, the what they call it, the rated R era, and now we're
the Attitude Era as well. Yeah,
the Attitude Era. Now you're kind of in the PG-13 era, where guys like Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch and to an extent, like Ronda Rousey are the big names.
I don't even know what it. And I'm kind of the same way. Like when I grew up watching wrestling, I loved, and obviously I still do love wrestling, but. I don't know if now they're trying, the PG-13 thing is, they can't have blood, they can't do headshots, they can't do anything like that anymore. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to play and get that younger audience. I assume it is, but the thing is they always had us when we were young ourselves, no matter what they were doing. The Attitude Era completely transformed them. You're thinking your Stone Cold Steve Austin's or, the NWO for WCW to just D-Generation X. Going around screaming, 2 words for you and that. I remember, being in, elementary school, middle school, telling people to do that to me. You know what I mean? So, I survived. We got through that. So, I don't know, what's going on. But, listen, the bottom line is, though, it's still a massive, massive, massive industry. And not only do you have, the WWE right now, which is exciting. I'll be the first to admit, though, without fans, it definitely isn't the same. I'm a big guy. I go on stage myself. I play off of the fans. I play off of my listeners. I play off of my viewers out there. To be able to have to perform and wrestle in front of no people definitely has an effect. But I guess the good thing is not only do you have WWE, but you also have AEW right now, which is also making some strong moves. And it gives I think it makes both products better because the WWE, when they had no real competition, they could kind of get less daisical, you know what I mean, and do what they want. Now it's like, hey, you better look over your back because people can watch AEW on TNT as well.
And AEW, of course, owned by former WWE superstar Cody Rhodes, as well as a contingency of other people. Chris Jericho, who might be a familiar name, is also in AEW. So some guys kind of have crossed over from WWE if their careers didn't work out or they wanted to change the scenery. So, yeah, definitely. And both are good shows. They both have their own kind of unique brand. WWE, obviously, the one that most people are familiar with. You know, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, they know the symbol. They know a lot of the, the names.
Everyone knows The Rock. You know what I mean? Everyone knows The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, the Bellas. You know what I mean? Now have transformed into just celebrities. They're on Entertainment Tonight all the time. They're on the E! Network. So wrestling has gone up and beyond just the actual wrestling aspect, if you would.
And, you had mentioned not having fans in the stands. And to me, I have to admit, it's really, really weird not having the fans, because they're the ones a lot of times who really make the show what it is, and just you feed off their emotion when you're watching an event, even if you're not in the live in the arena. And the guy that I really feel bad for, and he had his shining moment at WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania took place just a week or two after the whole COVID thing started. Vince McMahon decided to go ahead and host the WrestleMania in an empty arena. It's actually at the WWE training facility in Florida. Instead of one day, it was 2 days long, no fans. And the WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. I mean, that's a huge event every year. The guy that really I feel bad for, because he's now the new face of the WWE. He's a guy who has worked his butt off for almost over a decade. He's had roles before where his character has been almost kind of just a joke, and he actually left WWE for a while, went to TNT, which is no longer in business, came back to WWE where they finally put him over, and that's Drew McIntyre. And this guy beat Brock Lesnar, the Beast, who very few people have been able to do, beat him for the title, the WWE title, and it was kind of that shining moment for him, that the passing of the torch, so to speak, and he stood there in the ring in front of nobody to celebrate it. It was weird.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And listen, I'm sure if you asked Drew, and we've had him on the show, he loves Dave and Busted Open. He's happy to just have the belt. But I think part of me has to think that he wishes that he was able to get that shining moment in front of a giant, not just arena. The WrestleMania is the one that takes place in front of the football stadium. You're talking 70, 80,000 fans. Was at MetLife Stadium where the Jets and Giants played 2 years ago. Was supposed to be where the Buccaneers played this past year. That's what, WrestleMania is. And you play off of that crowd, and you want to know that all your hard work was worth it for that moment, that when you stand on that top turnbuckle and all those camera flashes and the phone lights go off and photos go off, it's like you did that. You are the star. You are there. And instead it happened in front of an empty arena with no background noise except the announcers, the three of them yelling. That's all that happened. And it definitely takes away from that magic, the magic of it. And it is sad, because he's such a good dude, and it's somebody that can just come here and won. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't win in front of anybody, what is it really for besides yourself, kind of thing? You know what I mean? You don't get all the accolades or just the pomp and circumstance, if you would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, I was sitting at home jumping up and down in my living room, but Drew couldn't see me doing that. And you know what I just thought about? You know what I just thought about as you were talking about, WrestleMania being in a big stadium every year, and you brought up the fact that this year was supposed to be at Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play, and it was canceled. And the first thing that came across my mind, Guns, was, of course it was, because it's where the Buccaneers play. This is what I'm talking about. That's the Buccaneers' bad karma that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying now.
That is just telling you what 2020 is going to be for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. It's bad from the beginning, man. It's not going to be good for the Bucs.
I think you're right.
But the good thing is, and the positive is that you look at all the sports, and I love sports just in general across the board. I'm a big UFC guy, like we said, baseball, all sports. I'm a big hockey guy. I just love sports. Who doesn't love sports? At least we still had professional wrestling throughout all of this. Now, even if it's in front of nobody, at least you still have the option. In life, I'd rather have the option than not have an option. And especially when, there's nonstop, I'm in New York City, coronavirus coverage, and then we've seen what's happened last couple of weeks as well. Sometimes it's good to at least be able to turn on wrestling and kind of escape what the heck is happening, or, the coronavirus stuff and more. So at least we were able to watch that. But, we've become spoiled throughout our 20, 30 years here that we want to watch the fans as well,
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, we are running out of time. I only have about a minute left. People pick on wrestling, Guns, and, it's so stupid it's scripted. Of course it's scripted. That's but that's not the point of watching it. The point is just what you said, to entertain you, to get you away from all the problems in life and give you something to, laugh about, cheer for. It's a male soap opera is really what it is. But it's, I got to tell you, some of these men and women who are professional wrestlers, they take some pretty hard bumps. Some of the stuff and some of the moves that they do, I want to see somebody try that without getting hurt. I mean, they may the outcomes may be scripted, but the athletic part of it certainly is not. So Mike Gunzelman is joining me, affectionately known as Guns. And unfortunately, Guns, we have come to the end of the show, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And, again, if you haven't listened to Sirius XM Busted Open on channel 156, airing on Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., please tune in. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, tune in because it's an awesome show. So much fun. Guns, it has been awesome having you on. I want to have you on again in the future.
We can do it again for sure. Yeah, we can have Dave LaGreca on. We can have some fun with it. But congratulations on your end, man, too. This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad things are working out for you and that, you're on the air and everything and able to, entertain people. Because just like wrestling, we need some entertainment these days. It's much better than being stuck inside, So we need everything we can get.
I'm all with you on that one, man. I'm ready to get out. And there are a lot of wrestling fans up here in the Hornell community in upstate New York. So I'm sure for those who are the wrestling fans that have been listening to these two segments, they really appreciate it. So, Guns, thanks again for coming on. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy. And Phase 4, hopefully not too far away for getting us back to normal here in this COVID-19 period. Thanks to all the essential workers out there taking care of us, all the men and women in the law enforcement, all the men and women in the military protecting us. And remember, coming up right after this show is the Joel Orion Show here on 92.1 The Team. I'm out, everyone. Have a good day.